Greetings to all and a warm welcome to our latest live webcast, Unlocking the Future, Empowering Industrial Security. We're thrilled you've decided to join us for this enlightening masterclass. With each episode, we provide new highlights, technical tips, and success stories that will leave you inspired and ready to get your protection, licensing, and security techniques another step closer to perfection. At WIBU-SYSTEMS, we empower software publishers and intelligent device manufacturers with cutting-edge technologies, new business models, and tailor-made consulting training. Let us help you upgrade, optimize, and automate your entire license lifecycle management so you can focus on monetizing your business at a higher level. My name is Daniela Previtali, Global Marketing Director of WIBU-SYSTEMS, and I'm delighted to have you here with us today. We are joined by Marco Blume, Product Manager for Embedded Technologies at WIBU-SYSTEMS, and Christian Ulrich, Head of Product Management Security at Swissbit. To give you a roadmap for today's session, here is what we will be covering. CmReady is a sustainable technological advancement that empowers intelligent device manufacturers to leverage industry-grade memory cards in the field beyond their traditional roles of executing firmware, software, and serving as storage mediums. Certified CmReady SD and microSD cards are now also pivotal in IP protection and licensing, with licenses intricately linked to the card's unique attributes. The result is a seamless blend of portability and simplicity, ensuring a secure, digitalized industrial future. Before we dive into the content, let's quickly address a few housekeeping items. For all of you tuning in today, we've set aside a special segment at the end of the session exclusively for Q&A. We warmly encourage you to drop your questions into the live chat box as they come to mind. If you can't get to your question during the live session, rest assured we'll make it a priority to engage with you individually at a later time to address your queries. This session is being recorded, and a link to the on-demand replay will be sent straight to your inbox within the next couple of days. This way, you can revisit the insights shared today at your leisure. And don't forget, stick around for the entire live session and seize the opportunity to win an invaluable 4 hours of personalized CodeMeter consultation with our industry-leading experts. As the webinar concludes, a new browser tab will automatically open, presenting you with a quick quiz. We'll randomly select a lucky winner from those who answer correctly and make the big announcement when we release the webinar replay. Kindly note that if you win, you'll be ineligible for any other prize draws we host in 2024. Be also aware that this brief questionnaire includes additional questions gauging the quality of this masterclass. While these questions are optional, your valuable feedback will empower us to enhance the quality of our offerings and tailor our online events more precisely to meet your specific needs. And now, without any more delay, I'm delighted to hand over the reins to Marco. The stage is all yours.
Thanks, Daniela, and good morning or good evening to everybody listening, wherever you are currently in the world. And we begin this CmReady presentation with Christian Ulrich, who is from Swissbit, and Swissbit is our partner in this topic, providing the SD cards we use for CmReady. So let me hand over to Christian, and he will do the first part of this presentation.
Thank you, Marco, and welcome from my side too. My name is Christian Ulrich, and I'm the Head of Product Management for Swissbit Security Solutions. And today I'm speaking to you from beautiful Switzerland. First of all, a little background information about Swissbit. For those of you who don't know us yet, Swissbit was founded in 2001 as a management buyout of Siemens Semiconductor Switzerland and has more than 450 employees worldwide today. The headquarters is located, you can see it here, in Bronschow, Switzerland, right in between the Lake Constance and Zurich. The production and main development site is located in Berlin, with further development sites in Constance, Germany, and Westford in the USA. The security division, which we call Embedded IoT Solutions, has its main office in Munich. And our sales and support teams, as you can see on this map, are spread around the world, including the US East and West Coast, Japan, Taiwan, and China. Swissbit is divided into 3 divisions. Firstly, memory, secondly, embedded IoT solutions, and thirdly, Hyperstone. With these 3 divisions, Swissbit serves customers from the industrial, netcom, automotive, medical, fiscalization, IoT, and data center segments. Let's start with the memory division, which develops and markets highly reliable memory solutions in various form factors, from the smallest, like a micro SD card, to the largest, like a PCIe SSD, for example, in the U.3 form factor for data center use cases. The portfolio includes pluggable solutions, for example, USB, SSD, or memory cards, but also permanently soldered variants in the BGA format, like eMMC. The Hyperstone division, which you can see on the right, focuses on NAND flash controllers for industrial and security applications. And Hyperstone controllers are also used for many of our Swissbit products. Finally, I can tell you the most about the Embedded IoT Solutions divisions, because that's where I'm based. The core topic is security, specifically the protection of data and network devices. We offer hardware and software-based solutions for this, which can consist of micro SD cards or USB sticks, for example. And these hardware products are always accompanied by some piece of software or a web service. That's why we call them hybrid products. Embedded solutions like eMMC, which you can see in this photo here, are also included. In addition to customers from industry and netcom and the public sector, one important market segment for my division is also POS solutions. When you go to a retail store, sometime you need to pay. So you go to a POS system, and that's where we come into play. So if you have been shopping in and around Germany in the recent years, so let's say 2020 and after that, you have probably often had a piece of paper in your hand, which is for which Swissbit has a decisive role, because since 2020, every receipt that you get in a shop in Germany, and you have to get a receipt either electronically or printed, every receipt contains a digital signature printed on that receipt, either in raw format or as a QR code. And that was actually an initiative by the German government to, let's say, promote tax honesty. So actually exclude any kind of manipulation or deletion of fiscal records after they have been made. And for that purpose, what you are required to have is a so-called TSE. That's by law, you need to have it, otherwise you're subject to fines. So this TSE, that's official German language for technical security equipment, technische Sicherheitseinrichtung, very formal German. And basically it's a certified signature device which goes into each POS system and then is connected by some kind of software and makes the whole POS system a legally compliant POS. So this BSI certified unit, the TSE, is manufactured by Swissbit, amongst others, and we are proud to be the market leader in the field of hardware TSE. We are currently also working on a subscription-based TSE variant for cloud cash registers, which runs as a pure online web service without any hardware to be plugged into the cash register. The largest Swissbit site is located in Berlin, in the part of Berlin which is called Marzahn. The site has an area of 10,000 square meters, production and office space, and the production has a capacity of 2 to 3 million units per month. The Swissbit is certified for automotive applications according IATF 16949, and has also a ISO 27001 certification for our ISMS. With the Made in Germany tag, we are playing an important role in securing supply chains. So the production site you can see here in the background, it has been put into production 2019. Before that, we were in a shared space. Now this is an exclusive production site just for us, which has been built on the green field. As a semiconductor backend, we have a high level of vertical integration, including own SMT lines, but in particular also including COB technology, which stands for chip on board. So we are actually processing raw silicon wafers, and therefore can respond flexibly to customer and market requirements. I hope I haven't bored you too much with the company information. Now let's come to the SD microSD SD cards. So based on our robust industrial memory cards, we have added some essential security features that are otherwise not found on SD cards. These include hardware-based AES-256 XTS encryption of the entire memory card. This feature enables confidentiality protection, so you protect your data. And you also get an optional crypto erase by discarding the symmetric key. In addition to confidentiality, the card can also help protect integrity, which is the completeness and correctness of the recorded data. Moreover, the authenticity of the card can be securely checked. I will come to the secure memory functions like CD-ROM, private partitions, and hidden storage in a second on the next slide. For now, let me just mention that we are supporting Linux, Windows operating systems on x86, x46, and ARM platforms. So now let's take a short deep dive into the data protection functions of a DP card. The animation shows an exemplary use case of a customer from the manufacturing industry. All partitions shown on the card are to be understood as examples. So that means you can adapt their type and number to the individual customer requirements. So first, let's take a look at the boot partition. This is initially written by the issuer. Once you set it up in your production environment, you write an image to it, and then you set it into read-only mode. This is the boot partition. It can be read as a normal memory without authentication by anyone, which is required by the system to boot correctly. However, the read-only partition, much like a CD-ROM, is protected against unauthorized modification of the bootloader. Yeah, it's just read-only, unmodifiable. The second partition in this example is, in this case, called OS partition. So let's say we use it for storing an operating system, and this partition has been configured so that it can only be read after successful authentication, which is in this case done via a PIN, which needs to be entered correctly. Other variants are, of course, possible. You can use a dongle, you can use some kind of fingerprinting of the system. In this example, it was really a PIN that needed to be entered during the boot process. This partition is also protected against unauthorized changes since it is mounted as a read-only partition. The third partition, called private data, is used in this example to store user data. This partition can be read and written, but also requires, in this case, successful authentication before it can be accessed. So this will only turn visible once you have entered your PIN, and will then be read and writable. The last partition is special because it is not part of the visible memory of the SD card. So let me put it up fully. So as you can see, the gray part is the physical memory area, but what will be displayed to the system as a block device is only the green part. So the NVRAM is excluded. This partition is special in the sense that it requires authentication as well as the other partitions, but it is only accessible through an API. So it is not accessible using onboard tools like DD under Linux. This is just not as transparent as the other memory, which allows to use this hidden area for use cases like audit trails, black boxing, copy control, things you can imagine that you want users not to do with your card, because when they try to clone the card, they only get the blue part, not the gray part. Coming to the next slide, and let's take a look inside the card and see what it makes so special as an industrial memory card. First of all, the power fail robustness. We test all our SD micro SD cards for 10,000 unexpected power interruptions, and the card needs to survive that without any loss of operation or loss of data. In addition, we use only highest quality NAND memory, which meets the temperature range and the low error rate of our specification. Our cards are continuously monitored for their status and degree of wear using our lifetime monitoring tool, so that you can replace the memory in advance if needed. The components are selected for longest possible product availability, which we call longevity, and the products have a lock bomb. All changes are announced via a PCN process. The production takes place in our own 6949 certified factory. All our NAND products are pre-tested over the full temperature range in our production facility. So if you ever visit it, you can see the small temperature chambers, and every single product is being put into that before we send it out to customers. Our firmware on the cards is optimized for industrial applications with the typical usage profiles of embedded and IoT customers. And we also have customization options to tailor our cards depending on the customer needs. Finally, the dedicated industrial-grade controller, which is hardened for the intended use. And this is a controller, in this case, from our Hyperstone supplier, which is now part of the Swissbit group. To make it a little bit more vivid, I've selected two examples to illustrate the difference between industrial memory cards and commercial memory cards. Firstly, you may have come across corrupted micro SD cards on Raspberry Pis, because this platform up to and including the Raspberry Pi 4 does not have a proper off switch. So in everyday practice, you just simply pull the plug to turn it off and on, which is a little bit harsh. And so this way of shutting it down instead of a controlled manner sooner or later leads to corrupted data on the memory card, which prevents the system from booting, and user data can also be lost in this scenario. So the Swissbit PS66U was subjected to an extensive stress test by Raspberry Pi and survived over 11,000 unexpected power interruptions unharmed, so without any loss of data or performance degradation. The second example is about environmental robustness. So Swissbit industrial memory cards are already qualified for a wide temperature range, but for one of our customers, this was not enough. So the customer was from the oil drilling industry, and in this specific use case, the card had to withstand a temperature of 165 degrees, which was almost twice the specified maximum temperature of 85 degrees. After 60 hours in the oven, the housing was deformed, as you can see on this picture, but you could still insert it into a reader. And the good news, all the data was still intact that had been written before the procedure. So we had a customer who was happy, and the solution, even though it was used out of specification, was still able to fulfill all the needs. Now coming to the product portfolio with CmReady features. It comprises, as you can see here, full-size SD cards and micro SD cards in the capacity 16 to 64 GB. On request, we also provide 8 and 4 GB variants as so-called extended over-provisioning variants. These are basically 16 GB cards which are downsized to 4 or 8 GB for legacy use cases or for even more extended endurance. The cards support the industrial temperature range of -40 to 85 degrees and can be written sequentially with over 30 megabytes per second. You can see this by UHS 1 Class 3 and Video Speed Class 30 certifications. Random access, which is also very important to industrial and embedded environments, is also very fast with application speed class A1, which means 1500 IOPS read and 500 IOPS write. The memory cards are equipped with the very durable PSLC NAND, featuring best endurance for long-term write operation. Finally, a quick word about our distribution channels, in case you are wondering how to get CmReady cards. So our SD cards are available through our distribution worldwide channels. The logos are shown here in the upper right part. So Arrow, Avnet, CMOS Photonic, Ineltro, they have been on our, we have been on their line card for a long time. Computer Controls, IMCA are more recent additions. And especially if you're looking for smaller quantities and next day delivery, I can recommend you our webshop partners, DigiKey, Element 14, Farnell, Mauser, Rutronic 24. So for smaller quantities and next day delivery, they are like Amazon for professional use. If you are in the need for larger quantities, feel free to ask for a quote directly from Swissbit. And with this, I'm at the end of my part of the presentation. And now I'm happy to hand over to Marco.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just take over the screen. So, and therefore, let me go on with the presentation of WIBU-SYSTEMS. For all those of you not so familiar with WIBU, a few words also to WIBU and the company itself. We have been founded in 1989, so a lot of years ago. And in the meantime, we have a staff of more than 150 people worldwide, most of them sitting in our headquarters in Karlsruhe. It's the place where I am also at the moment. In this picture, you see our new building we have since 2 years. And besides offices, development, and so on in Karlsruhe, we have our production line here. So every dongle or every SD card from WIBU-SYSTEMS is programmed and firmware loaded here on our Karlsruhe site. For sales and support and professional services, we have subsidiaries, for instance, in the US, in China, in Japan, in Europe, and more is planned there. We are financially independent, so the company is completely privately owned. There's no other one involved. And we are, of course, ISO 9001 and 27000 certified. We are holding patents. We are involved in different research and development projects together with universities, companies from industrial suppliers, and different more. We are market leader and provide a comprehensive solution, and of course we also gather for technology leadership. So our main claim is perfection in security, licensing, and protection. That is what we mainly do. Our main part is licensing and protection of your software. And we do this together with a lot of partners, which you can see in the next slide if it comes. There it is. We have partners from the industry, from automotive, from manufacturers of medical equipment, CAD software on desktops. So we are in the desktop world, in the embedded world, down to microcontrollers. I think you will find a lot of logos here, which you have seen before. So let's come to a few words about protection, licensing. What are we talking about? The core component is called CodeMeter. CodeMeter is like a complete universe of products. It starts with the CodeMeter runtime for desktop systems, for instance. We have the CodeMeter embedded library or source code for implementation, mainly for industrial or IoT devices, embedded systems. And when using a microcontroller, we have the CodeMeter micro embedded. This is something like, let's call a driver. It's the core component you always need. And we have different variants of CodeMeter containers. I come later to what is a container. That's where we store the license. And then this is just one side. This is the part which everybody with protected software needs. But we also want to help the software manufacturer, the service provider, to integrate this. And therefore, we have the CodeMeter Protection Suite. This is a bunch of programs which does the protection of your software, which integrates the security functions and make it easy to concentrate to your core business. And we are doing the protection later on when your product is ready or during development, that you don't need to think about how to do all this cryptographic stuff and how to get this in a secure way. This is something we can offer you by support from the CodeMeter Protection Suite. And then you have a protected software, but how to get the license to the customer, the third big issue. That is our back office integration with the tool CodeMeter License Central. This is a database-based system which connects to your ERP system like SAP or other CRM systems, and do all the stuff from you sell a license and how to get this license in a secure way to the customer, how to monitor how many licenses you have sold, and so on and so on. The whole business process during the lifetime of your product is done via the License Central. This just to get an overview, what is CodeMeter, what is WIBU doing, what are our products. So now let's come a little bit closer to what we are talking today about. And this is the license needs a secure anchor. That means if you give a license to somebody, you have to make sure that this license can't be copied, it can't be moved except you want it, and so on. So imagine the license or the CodeMeter container, which contains the license, as an anchor. The anchor has the job to keep the ship, which is in this case your software, in place regardless of how harsh the conditions outside are. The anchor is stable and your ship, your software can be attacked, but the anchor holds it in place. That's how I like to describe what a secure anchor or the license container does. Now, to the real container, we have a lot of different formats of containers or anchors. On the left side, you see the cloud-based. It's only a small logo, which does not mean that it's only a small thing. That means this works for systems which have internet access, and then you have all the key material, all the licenses in the cloud. So if you have systems which are connected to the internet, you can use the cloud, you can move licenses, you don't have to think about stealing or breaking of a dongle or whatever. Then on the other hand, we have the file-based licenses. For those who know the system already, it is the CodeMeter Act license. And of course, a file needs to have an anchor. If not, you can just copy it somewhere else and then you have moved or copied the license. That's what we do not want. So this file-based license always means it is bound to a system. That can be done automatically. You know it from activation of Windows systems, for instance. This works on desktop systems, and if we are talking about embedded systems, IoT systems, and so on, usually you implement the binding to a specific hardware, to special hardware features, and then you have a properly anchored file-based CmAct license. And then we have this whole bunch of different dongles or hardware containers. They are all based on an Infineon security element or a secure element. It's one chip, and we have different interfaces from the ASIC on the left side over different form factors of USB sticks, different connectors for USB sticks, SD cards, CF cards, and so on. And we call it the CodeMeter Universe. That includes all the stuff. Here, the license containers. Additionally, as mentioned before, the software integration, which we do for native code, for managed code, script languages. We have a compile time protection where we integrate the protection suite directly into your build process and can automate all your rollout process. And of course, the back office integration. Now let's have a look on what systems we are running. Our usual operating systems are, of course, Windows, Linux, Mac OS. But in the embedded world also different real-time operating systems like VxWorks or others like QNX. And when providing the source code, we are also able to run on more systems with other operating systems, but these are the main ones. And of course, the standard architectures, Intel, ARM, PowerPC, and MIPS. We support different environments. Also something I stated before, we have the micro embedded, a very stripped down version for microcontrollers, just a few kilobyte in size. Then we have the CodeMeter Embedded, which is available as a source code in C or as a pre-tested library to integrate in your own products. The standard CodeMeter runtime is the part which runs usually on PCs, but also can be run on embedded devices when there is enough hardware resources to operate this as a service. And with an additional product called Certificate Vault, we are also able to provide a PKCS11 API to store X509 licenses on the dongle to be used for authentication, for instance. So especially for this embedded world, what are our target groups? We have the independent software vendors, companies providing or programming and selling software, and we call them the intelligent device manufacturers. That is our embedded specialty, where we talk about IoT systems, edge systems, and all the stuff which is not running on a desktop, but it is a computer in the end. Okay, so much for the overview. Let's come to CodeMeter Ready. What is CodeMeter Ready? This is new. This is a new solution we provide as an additional possibility of how to store licenses. To tell it quickly is we use an industrial SD card, in this case, the Swissbit DP card. We use a file-based CodeMeter Act license, and then we get a CodeMeter Ready license container. That means it looks like, you have dongles, you have Act licenses, you have cloud licenses, and now you have additionally CodeMeter Ready licenses. But not exactly. In fact, it is a CodeMeter Act licenses. And what we do is we have a plug and play binding to these CodeMeter Ready certified SD cards. Because as we heard before, the DP card from Swissbit has different special functions like the NVRAM, like an API to access special functions in the firmware of the card. So the card has no secure element like our dongle, but it has an advanced firmware which does more than a standard SD card in the market. So we have this as a version or a variant of the CodeMeter Act license. And it works with the already released CodeMeter Runtime version 8.0 and the CodeMeter Embedded 3.0. There, this functionality is already integrated. So let us compare where we stand with this card. In this table, on the left side, you have the CodeMeter Act license, and we just marked here what are the functionalities and specialties of the different container types. On the left side, the Act license. On the right side, the maximum security dongle. And in between these two things, we have the CodeMeter Ready license container based on the SD card. That means we have some advantages of the dongle, like the movability, the mobility of the device, and we are based on an Act license. I won't explain every point in this table here. It's just to give an overview where we are standing. So let's have a look on the different points of view CodeMeter Ready. At first, the view of the software vendor. For the software vendor, what is the advantage of CodeMeter Ready? We have an Act license, which is bound to an individual SD card. That means, as said before, we have this anchor stuff. The license file is located on the SD card, but if you copy it to a different card, it won't work because it is anchored inside the card. And that you can use this out of the box, we integrated this as a ready-to-use plugin, so you can use it like a dongle without programming a binding or whatever. And besides this, that's why we use the big SD cards with different configurations of memory. Of course, you can use this card as a boot medium for data storage and additionally for licensing. You can create different partitions. You can integrate this in your factory processes because the programming is completely independent of the device. You don't need a fingerprint from the target device. You just need to program the SD cards, and later on you can handle this SD card as a license, plug it into the device, and it will work in the field. And this works with CodeMeter Runtime and CodeMeter Embedded. That means you can have a system operating CodeMeter Runtime, which programs the cards in your factory, for instance, and then run it with the license later on in the field. Now, the perspective from your customer, the person who buys your software or your device. They have the advantage of using an SD card. And they can use different kinds of SD cards. Maybe they just need 8 gigabytes, maybe they just need 64 gigabytes, and this can vary. All the ready devices are compatible and can be used. They can also be interchanged and so on, a bit like a dongle. And of course, the customer can use the card for his own purposes. He can put own software or licenses on the card. And of course, he can also use it for his own licensing. So like the dongle, we can have more than one license provider on the card. And again, of course, it works together with runtime and embedded. So for the view of a SD card manufacturer, in this case like Swissbit, the advantage taking part in this CodeMeter Ready environment is we have the certification of the card. You can extend your product portfolio. We have the synergy of working together with Swissbit, giving our customers the opportunity to use SD cards in a configuration he needs, and using the same card for our licensing system without needing anything else, without needing to adapt it to the hardware or whatever. So now let's have a look at some technical aspects. I think this is especially interesting for people already knowing our architecture. How does it work? On the top, we have your application, whatever it is. And this application uses an API to communicate with CodeMeter Embedded or CodeMeter Runtime. The application can also be protected by AX Protector, and then they do the communication to Embedded. And what is new now is we have the CodeMeter Runtime extension in form of a plugin. It is a shared object which is included in the delivery package of CodeMeter 8.0, for instance. And that is a plugin which enables us to load a vendor plugin. The vendor plugin is a library from Swissbit in this case, where they do the abstraction between their own hardware, the DP card, and the API of CodeMeter to bind this card to the CodeMeter Ready plugin. And of course, now we have a stack of shared objects linked together. For security reasons, these are signed. I come later to this point, but that's why you see this small symbol with a signing or with a certificate on it. And of course, the standard operating system functions are still in place. Your application can communicate with the DP card directly or over the other stack of libraries. Stated before, still the picture with the anchor, we have a binding, and the binding is anchored inside the firmware of the CodeMeter Ready card. So something which cannot be manipulated on a simple way. To make sure we are communicating to the right partner, the libraries are signed, and we also only accept signed libraries. So exchanging the library and faking the ID is not possible in this way. And of course, we have secure counters also located inside the firmware, which prevents customers, for instance, when using time-based or number-based licenses, to play back an old license. So there is a counter every time we change the license, the counter is increased, and this counter can't be reset. So that's one of our security features here. And of course, we have an operational safety, because if somebody accidentally deletes the license file in the file system, then we can automatically restore this license file from the NVRAM in the SD card. So even if a customer or a technician in the field loads a new image to the card, with the next access, the license file will be restored and it will still work. Some technical data. The vendor-specific plugin is available for Linux and Windows, so I think this covers currently 99% of the systems in the market, of course, for all processor platforms. And we have some prerequisites to operate this. That means we need one partition on this SD card where we can read-write by the CodeMeter process. That can be a shared partition with other functionalities, or it can be an extra partition. That is up to you how to handle this and how to partition the device. Of course, it is compatible with booting, and we can put in up to 4 license containers. So that means, like when having firm codes, 4 different companies can put their licenses on one CodeMeter Ready device. So if you want to get started, how does it work? The first steps for you need an FSB from WIBU-System, and you need to install the CodeMeter SDK, which is also provided by WIBU, which is used to encrypt the software, and you have all the environment you need for development. And then you'll need to download the vendor-specific library. This is provided by Swissbit because it belongs to the Swissbit SD Ready card. There will be a direct link where you can get this library. It's just a small file. And you need to install the library, which means just copy it into the plugin directory, and then it is ready to use. You can use the CodeMeter Ready device in a plug-and-play manner, just like a dongle. If you deliver your software, you just protect it at first with the protection suite. It's the same process like using CodeMeter Act or a dongle-based software. And then you distribute your software, including the card vendor's library. So usually you make one package, and that package installs the CodeMeter runtime or CodeMeter embedded, and you also deliver this vendor-specific library. That means for your customer, it is just installing the protected package as today. As every software installation, usually this comes together with a CodeMeter installer, and then, of course, he needs to get the license from the portal, or sometimes you deliver it already loaded to the CmReady card. That's something we usually do in the embedded environment. And then to use it, just plug in the card into the device, run the software. The same with the dongle, the same with the CodeMeter Act license. So for the customer, quite easy. That was a quick run through what is CodeMeter Ready. So now we come to the point, if I haven't talked too much, questions. One question. The participant asks, is it possible to use certificate vault with CodeMeter Ready? No, this is not possible, as this is in CodeMeter Ready is based on a CodeMeter Act license, and CodeMeter Certificate Vault is an API which is bound to the PKCS11 API, and PKCS11 by definition is for talking to secure elements. So as this is a technical software license, CodeMeter Certificate Vault cannot be used with CodeMeter Ready the same way as it cannot be used with CodeMeter Act license. The next question, why do not use CodeMeter SD cards? What is the difference to a CodeMeter Ready certified card? The difference is the CodeMeter SD card is a dongle which holds a secure element, and we do not have this whole bunch of different configurations of the cards with different memory layouts, with different memory sizes, and so on. And a CodeMeter Ready card from Swissbit is, you have much more variants, and this is mainly a storage device, and a CodeMeter dongle is mainly a dongle device. So that's also a difference in price, and therefore a CodeMeter Ready card is available in different memory configurations. Christian, do you have also a question there?
Yeah, maybe there's one which is fitting quite well here. So we had a question: how much do CmReady enabled SD and micro SD cards cost? And the answer to that is maybe also fitting well into the previous question. So why do we have the two variants? So the CmReady card is an industrial memory card. So it's competitively priced within to be in line with the market of high reliability industrial SD memory cards. But it does not have a dedicated secure element. So that's a cost advantage that we also transfer to our customers. So it's intended to be used as an industrial memory card, which is already there in many cases, and which is now upgraded with security features to have a very good in-between between the pure software license and the hardware token that is provided by WIBU already, to have the CmReady as a very good in-between solution.
I have one more question here. Can I mix cards in an environment of CodeMeter runtime and embedded? Yes, because usually with today's implementation, we can't mix Act licenses between embedded and runtime. They are not compatible. But with CodeMeter Ready, we integrated this compatibility. That means it is possible to move cards between an operated runtime and an embedded system. You can also load the license on an embedded system and use it on a runtime system, and the other way around. So yes, this is compatible, even if it is a CmAct license, technically. The next question I see, it's to Christian.
Yes. So the question is, I already use Swissbit DP cards, the PS46. Are the new PS66 cards backward compatible? So the answer is basically yes. We ported all the data protection features from the old product variant to the new. There were some extensions of the functionality, but the new product has been designed to work in use cases that the previous generation has been successfully used in.
I say thank you for listening. Thank you for taking part in our presentation for CodeMeter Ready. If you are a guest at the Embedded World in the beginning of April, WIBU is there in Hall 4, Swissbit is there. I will be available at the exhibition and at our booth on the first 2 days of the exhibition. Christian will send his colleagues because he will not be available. No more questions in the meantime. So let me say thank you for taking part in this presentation. Take the chance to answer the questionnaire in the end and win some free support from us. So from my side, good night or have a nice day wherever you are.
Thank you very much for joining also from my side.
Yeah.